Hi there, welcome back to the Rare Book Views channel, where I'm hoping that we're going to take a look at some rare books as I find them on my book hunting and book shopping and frugal book experiences. I'm also just a lover of good books and a voracious reader, so I would love to hear from all of you about what you think are great books and exciting additions. Today I'm going on a used book hunting expedition. I'm going to one of my favorite places to buy books. It is a library, friends of the library bookstore, where people have donated books just to support the library. These are not supposed to go into circulation, so they're just for charity bookstore type environment. I love it for so many reasons. I love it because it supports the library. I get to go book shopping. It's a great reduce, reuse idea where if you don't want this book anymore, maybe let's find a new home and someone can read it and enjoy it rather than just chucking it or recycling it. I can't imagine for a book. But this place is great, and it usually is just a very small corner of a library, but this is for the whole county, and it is big, it is expanding. It is always interesting to see what they've sort of tucked away. There's a couple places in the front of the store where you can't carry them around because they have sort of special, more interesting editions, and you never know what you'll find. I just cannot wait, and I have a long list of things I need for people, but I am not trying to buy books for myself to read because I have plenty, I have kind of a lot on hand, but I'm always looking for a collectible book to add to the collection, so let's go see what we can find. Okay, I had a fantastic time at the bookstore, and I found so many great things. And even though I said I was not going to buy books for myself, I did. I found the next book in the Laurie series, the next one to me. I've had a really hard time getting these from the library because I think a lot of people really love them. They're so well written, sort of a Sherlock Holmes fan fiction type scenario, but they're amazing. I really like them, and this cost me $3, so I'm excited to have it, and I'm sure once I'm done with it I can find a new home for it. I also found a vintage, but I believe this is book club, but I found a Agatha Christie, and I'm sort of a newly discovered fan of Agatha Christie, which I love when you find a new author who has a ton of books and you can just dig into them. So much fun. So I bought 2 books to read, even though I said I wouldn't. I found a couple books to support my book selling habit, which is what supports the book buying habit. I found 2 vintage Winnie the Poohs, and one of these I need to complete the 4 for this time period, and I can never pass these up when they're a good price, and these were $2. If I can get all 4 of them, then I can bundle them together and get them a new home, which is kind of like being the SPCA for books, but I just love seeing all of them. But that means that I have multiple versions of the series going where I just need one more, and it's so exciting when you can finish off the set. So I did that today, which is great. I found a copy of The Little Prince. This is the 1943 version, but I am sure it was not printed in 1943. There were many, many reprintings of this book. It's an interesting one. It was originally published in French, but in the United States. It was printed in New York, and then it was printed in English, and then it was printed in many, many different versions. So this is the 1943, but I think it is a little bit later. I only paid a couple dollars for it. I'm gonna sell it. I'm sure it will sell for about $10. I will make $1 or something, but it always helps with my book buying habit to be making a couple dollars along the way whenever you can pick it. This is really cool. This is from the Freemasons. It is the Lodge of Washington, D.C., and it is dated 1783 to 1876. I saw another example of this online, sort of the next volume, I think the next time period, and these are very sought after. This one has a big whoopsie right here, so I know that will bring down the value significantly, but this is a for-real antique. It's over 100 years old, and the Freemasons do tend to like their ephemera, the sort of non-book things, and so the book things kind of get swept up in that. I am not a Freemason because I'm a woman, but I know that Freemasons do feel strongly about their collecting, so I'm hoping that I will be able to find a new home for this, even though it does have these condition issues. It's because it's the edge of the spine that has the issue. I'm hoping that because it would be nice on a shelf, that it'll still have appeal. And it is fascinating. It's sort of biographies and the people who were involved during that time period. So this could have an audience. It's a little bit of a gamble. The other cool thing I found for my eBay habit is this Wizard of Oz book, The Land of Oz. This is an interesting one because it is by L. Frank Baum. So later they sort of kept going after him with new publishers. This has barely a dust jacket, but these books generally don't have dust jackets at all. It's very rare to find one. It is in pieces. I will put this in a broader so it will help it a little bit, but unfortunately, because the spine is missing, what's going to happen with the broad art is this is going to be white where it's missing. That's what tends to happen. But I paid $10 for this, and I'm sure it's worth more than that. If you want to look up the values of Wizard of Oz books, there's this great guide by a man named Fred Trust, and he has a website. I'll put a link to it. You can purchase this. Since I purchased this one, he has a new one with a supplemental section, and I think it's just he's found all of these editions and figured out which one's first. It's listed in here, and the Land of Oz is interesting. It started out with a different title. It sort of evolved from the Magnificent, the Mysterious, the Marvelous Land of Oz, and then it became the Land of Oz later. So because of the way that this guide is set up, I can tell this version came out in between 1935 and 1951. It's kind of a large span, went on for a while in this version. But I'll be able to put that in the description, so serious Wizard of Oz book collectors will know what exactly they're getting. I try to give them as much information as I can. I also got some books on the list of a friend, and I love that. I love it when I can find a bargain for someone of books they're really looking for. There are a bunch of books here for her kids. They are into this series, Bad Kitty, which clearly came out after my time, but they really enjoy this, and it does look really fun. The illustrations, there's a bunch of illustrations, but full sentence words. It's a little bit of a cross between a graphic novel and a kid's just getting to chapter book kind of reading. And her son loves cats, so it's great. But she asked me for these books, the Ballpark mysteries. I've never seen these before, but I was thrilled to find them because she asked me about them, and then I found them and they were $1, which is great. These the kids really love these. Who, what, when, it's periods, people, things in history, and they're very handy and similar, right? There's some text, and then there's some pages where it's mostly illustrations, so it seems kind of approachable. And these full price are $6 to $8, and I paid $1 because it's used. It's not really used, it feels brand new. And that is the wonderful thing about repurposing things, finding a new home for things. I mentioned this book on I did a video about what to read if you loved The Crown. There's great books to read about the series and the royals. This is one of the books that is really fun. This came out some time ago and I think was very controversial and scandalous. It is very gossipy, and I loved it. It is such a fun, quick read. Kitty Kelly, oh, man. So I mentioned that I really liked it, and a friend of mine said she would like a copy, and I can't wait for her to read it because then we can talk about it. I'm thrilled, and this was a couple dollars. It was $3 for hardback in like new condition. So I feel like today was incredibly productive. I found books for other people. I unintentionally found books for myself. I found some things that I'll list on my eBay to make a couple dollars, which will support my habit here, many books, and that feels fun. I like finding new things that I can find out how valuable they are by passing them on to someone else. Someone told me once, if you're a collector, you will be a seller, because eventually you'll buy a copy and you'll find a better one, and then you have to find a new home for the previous one. So eventually you'll start picking up books thinking, oh, someone else will want this. I also did find some books for the present shelf that I can't show you, but I just did a video pretty recently showing what I was sending to one of my nieces for her birthday. If you're interested in those videos, let me know. If you're interested in these videos, let me know. If you're just a book person, drop me a comment. I really appreciate everybody who's watching and letting me know, because it's really fun. And it seems like we found the corner of the internet where people are pretty much positive and have positive things today. It's really fun for me to have this reason to keep book shopping, so I really appreciate it. Thank you so much for watching, and happy reading.